Hello everyone, it's Kathy and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin', and back here into my craft room. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I want everyone to know, because sometimes I fail to say this, but I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm located here in North Carolina. But if you're not currently working with a demonstrator, I would absolutely love to earn your business. So if I'm doing a video and you see any of the products that you may be interested in, please reach out to me. I'll give you all the information you need, or you can actually just click the link that's on the PDF tutorial or the link that's located under this video, and you can go directly to my store. You can order whatever you want from there. On my PDF tutorials, I always list all of the supplies along with the order number. So in Stampin' Up! And ordering, the order number means everything. You can look things up by name, but it's much easier if you have the order number, and all you have to do is key in that 6-digit number and your item pops up and it's ready to be added to your cart. So it makes it really simple. But with all that being said, I wanted to kind of showcase today some of our new products. I used 2 different stamp sets to create this card. Now when I say create, this card is not glued together. It is basically just laying there, but I want to, without revealing any of the magic, I want to show you how I made this. So I'm going to lay this one over out of the way, maybe right here, and I'm going to pull in some products that I'm using. One is my card base, and this is the basic white thick, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score that at 4.25. I have a piece of scrap white cardstock that we're going to use for our to do some stamping and die cutting on. I also have a piece of mossy meadow, and again, this is just a scrap. This piece measures about 5 by 2, and we only need that just for our stems and our leaves. I do have 3 ink pads. One is Mossy Meadow. One is a new color that is Boho Blue. This is a returning color. And Misty Moonlight, and that also is a returning color. And these both have been added to our regular collection. Misty Moonlight to the neutrals, and the Boho Blue actually is one of our new in color. I'm sorry, I said this was added to our regular colors. This is our new in color. So this one we'll have it for 2 years and it'll go away. And who knows, they may bring it back like they did Misty Moonlight. Everybody fell in love with Misty Moonlight, so I'm real glad that they brought that back. But those are our 3 ink colors that we're going to be using today. And I am going to also be using this designer series paper, and this one's called Countryside Inn. And let me show you the rest of the products that goes with Countryside Inn. You get a stamp set, and you get dies. Now these dies are beautiful by themselves, because look at all the different size labels that you can cut with this die. And I have thought for a while that Stampin' Up! Needed some large label dies like this. We haven't had any for probably at least a couple years or more, so I love those. And the stamp, what I love about this, it's one big stamp, and then you can use any of the sizes of these to cut these down, which is what I did in my card. So let's go ahead and get started with our stamping first. So even though this has gone away, y'all will see me use this real often, because I am a true fan of my Stamparatus. And if you don't have a stamp positioning tool, there are others on the market. Now, I will not endorse Misty because of the fact that they have sued so many companies over the stamp platform, and there's still bukus of them out there that they haven't gone after. I mean, surely their patent has to end at some point, and I'm hoping when that happens, our Stamparatus will come back. We'll move my designer series paper out of the way, and what I want to do, let's move our dies over here. And our card base, we'll move that right there for now. What I want to do is I want to get this piece of paper into my Stamparatus, and I want to get my stamp positioned where I want it, which is right about there. And because this is a cling stamp, I'm not using any mats on it, so it is going to be just sitting there. I am going to put magnets on this to hold it, because more than likely I'll have to stamp it more than once. So I want those magnets to hold my paper in place. And again, it makes me sad because I can't tell y'all that you can go to my site and buy this anymore. As soon as people saw that the Misty was going away, people were ordering them, I mean, just hand over fist, because anybody knows that this is without a doubt the best stamping platform on the market, or that was on the market. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to use that Misty Moonlight, and we are going to ink up our stamp. Just like that. Give it a good press. And oh, that's pretty just like it is, but because we can, we're going to re-ink to make sure we get a nice bold image. Now my Misty Moonlight, because I'd already had this stamp pad, I may need to re-ink it because I hadn't used it in a couple years. But even with a couple of years of not using it, it still stamps beautifully. Now it seems like right here, just not quite getting enough of ink right there. See if that's better. Oh yeah, much better. I think that looks beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and close up my Misty Moonlight. And let's take this out. We are going to stamp a couple of more things on here, but I'm going to cut this off so it'll be ready to go into our die cut machine. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my Stampin' Mist. Well, if I can get to it. I'm going to move this out of the way because y'all know what happens when I spray this stuff. Sometimes I make a mess. So I'm just going to go ahead and wipe this stamp down. It's real important to keep your stamps nice and clean. That keeps them from wearing out, for one thing, and it conditions your stamps, and it just makes them stamp better the next time. So you will find that I'm a bit of a stickler when it comes to cleaning my stamps, but your stamps are such an investment. Why would you not? You know, I look at it like this. When I buy a kitchen tool, I take really good care of it because I look at it as an investment. Your stamps and your dies are no less than tools in your craft room. And, you know, your machines are like your blenders or your stand mixers or anything like that. You want to take care of your products so they last you a good long time and are always ready for you. I didn't put my magnets back, so let's put those back where they belong. And give that a little wipe. All right, what I want to do now is I'm going to bring this piece back over, and I actually want to cut it. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the piece that we're going to run through our die cut machine. And I'm going to bring it up to about there. And now that's ready to die cut. And that still gives us this piece that we can actually do our stamping on. And the other set that I want to bring in is the Cheerful Daisy. And that also comes with stamp and a die, and it has some beautiful paper, but we're using the paper from the Countryside. The paper has a different name than the Countryside. It is Countryside Inn, and that is such a beautiful pack of paper. If you saw me do my premiere of what I got, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I had one of my customers slash demonstrators that is under me, because when I looked at this, I said, this looks like the embossing folder. And when she texted me after my video went up and said that this piece, she saw another demonstrator, and they showed that this piece can be used in the embossing folder. It picks up in there perfectly. So I didn't know that, so thank you, Marlene, for that tidbit of information. You know, we all learn from one another. And just because I'm a demonstrator does not mean that I know it all. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stamp this large daisy, and we're going to use the outline, and then we're going to use the filler, and then we're going to use that little middle piece. So let's pull those off. So we're going to need this one, and this one, and that one. Now what I like to do is I like to I'm going to bring out my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm going to lay this across it like that, because I'm using photopolymer. I want to get a really nice impression. So let's see. I think this one will work on this one. And we can pick up this one with this block. And then we need that small block for our little piece, our little middle piece. Alright, I'm going to use my colors again. I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight for my outline, which is going to be this one. That's the one that has the lines in it. So go ahead and ink that up really good. I'm going to double check it and make sure it's nice and inked. Like I said, I definitely need to get my re-inker out and re-ink this stamp pad. Okay, so let's put this one down right about here. And I'm going to give it a good press, making sure that ink is getting into that paper. Very pretty. Now I can close this one up, and let's get our boho blue. Now this one is a new ink pad, so it should be a little juicier. That looks pretty. And I'm gonna hover right over top of this one, trying to get everything lined up as best I can. And then I'm gonna stamp down. And this is called two-step stamping, and if you're not familiar with it, it basically is a step that allows you to color without coloring your having to pull out markers. It does the work for you, and I love that. So now I want to use I want pecan pie or copper clay. I can't remember which one I used in that one. I want to say it was copper clay. Let's go ahead and try copper clay. This is a new in color, and it is beautiful. And we're going to stick this in right about here. So pretty. Love that. Okay, the other stamping that we need to do is our Misty Moonlight. Mossy Meadow. I am so sorry, y'all. Oh my goodness, trying to remember all the new colors and keep everything straight in my brain. Oh my word, it is not good. Alright, we're going to take the piece of green, and we are going to stamp two leaves on it. So the leaves are coming from the Cheerful Daisy, and it's this little leaf right here. So this is going to give us some detail, and when we die cut this, it's going to be beautiful. So let's get another little stamp block. And we're going to stamp one there. And one here. Just like that. And now we are ready to do some die cutting. But before I start my die cutting, I want to do one thing real quick, and that's clean these stamps. Now y'all know I love my Stampin' Scrub. This thing is awesome, and all you have to do is spray a little cleaner, or you can just use water. And even if you put cleaner on it, you can reactivate it with just a little bit of water. And now we can bring up our big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I wonder if I could use the little one. Let's see. Oh, I know I can't use the little one for this one piece, but I need to grab also a piece of Misty Moonlight. So a little scrap of Misty Moonlight. We're going to need that for some die cutting. Alright, for this one I am going to use, this is the Countryside Inn. I'm going to use this larger stamp to cut the entire thing out. So we're going to run that one through first. And as is my habit, I am going to tape this down because I want to make sure that I'm getting everything exactly where I want it. So I use my little post-it flags, and I know y'all can't see what I'm doing because I brought up my machine, but this is what I'm doing. I'm putting this down and I'm getting it evenly matched around the sides like that, and then I'm going to just put that down there. And I'm going to use another one right here, just like that. So that's ready to go through the die cut machine. Now we're going to pull our daisies out. And for the daisies, I'm only going to use this one here because I only need to cut that image. So let's get this one lined up. Something like that. I think one will hold that. And now the only thing we got left to do is our leaves. So we're going to grab the little leaf die, and we can only cut one of these at a time. So I'm going to position it over it like that and anchor it down. Now we're ready to do our cutting. Now we're going to have to cut more than one piece, and that's okay. We can come back and run this through as many times as we need to. So let's pull in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And for die cutting, I'm going to need my number 1 plate, my number 2 adapter, which is for your thinlet dies. I'm going to need a number 3 cut plate and a number 3 cover plate. These are the same. I dedicate one to the bottom for my cut plate and one to the top as my cover plate. Now I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to try to see if I can get this around where you can see it a little better. Let's zoom out just a hair. There we go. So I'm going to try to angle this just a little bit. I don't like anything going in against a straight edge because it's hard on your machine. Just the tiniest little bit of an angle can make all the difference in the world. So let's crank that through. And see how easy that goes through? Like a charm. Alright, so now we can take this piece loose. But I want to cut it again. I want to cut this. So this will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th one up, if you're counting from the middle up. If you're counting from the largest to the down, it's going to be the 3rd one. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to position this right over top of this piece. And again, I'm going to use my post-it flags to make sure I get that in place. Bring our plates back over. Then we're going to turn it to the an edge like that. I'm rotating this plate around the top plate, and then we're going to crank this through. Alright, that's going to give us our little framelit that we need. So let's pull that off. And we're going to need to cut this one more time. And remember that piece of Misty Moonlight that I brought out? That's what we're going to use to cut this piece. So again, I'm going to put this down right here. And I think we can bring our leaves over and cut that as well. And let's see, maybe we can do our daisy too. We'll try it. That's a lot of cutting right there. But you know, it's nice when you can pull through and cut more than one piece at a time. That just makes, that cuts your work in two. So if we got these all done, all we got to do now is the leaf again. So I'm going to pick that one up. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just rearranging that leaf to cut that other leaf out. And now we're going in with that leaf one more time, and then we'll be done with our die cutting. Alright, we can take the big boy out of the way. Straighten my mat back up. And let's zoom y'all back in. And let's pull our pieces all off. Be very careful with your post-it flags because you don't want them to tear your paper. So that piece is cut beautifully. Stick my dies back where they belong. We have our frame. We have our piece to go in the middle of our frame. Oh, I do have to die cut one more thing. We have our daisies. We have both of our leaves. And I need to cut my stem, and I didn't, I forgot. That's okay. We'll actually bring up our little mini machine and we'll use it. And I did something I said I was not going to do. I said I was not going to buy the boho blue mini die cut machine, but when I placed my order I qualified for an item at 50% off and I could not resist. This is the piece for the stem that we need to cut, so I'm putting this all back in. Let's see, this piece needs to go back up here. Now we need to do our stem, but we don't need our big one. We're going to do our little one, and I'm going to show you the boho blue. It is so stinking cute. Like I said, I wasn't going to get it because I thought, okay, I don't really need another die cut machine. But look at this boho blue. Oh, is that not the cutest thing? And I love that gray handle and the gray crank. It's so cute. So, and it is a wonderful machine just like the other one. So I'm going to lay down my piece of green, my little stem, and I'm going to scatter my plates just a little bit, and we're going to run that through. Alright, now I am sure, maybe not, we got one more thing to cut. I am going to take this piece and I want to cut out that little middle piece right there. So again, I'm going to use one of my post-it flags just to hold it in place. Alright, I'm back and I've gotten this piece cut out. That was the last thing that we had done. So this piece right here is actually going to be for our sentiment. And you can see we got a lot of use out of that one piece. So I'm going to bring over my pieces, and these were all of my die cuts. Let me slide this back into our envelope. I always like to put my dies back so I don't misplace them. What I want to do now is I want to attach this piece to this side. And how I found out it was easier to do this was to lay it out on my craft mat and just lay it in like that. And then I used just some old-fashioned regular Scotch tape. And all I did was put a piece here, a piece up here, and then I did two smaller pieces on each side, there and here, just like that. Now that makes that piece become one piece, and that holds it perfectly so that when you put it onto your card base, which we have our card base right here, I'm going to bring my trimmer back out so we can score this. And I always, even though I get a good crease line, I still like to hold my edges together and take my bone folder, if I can find it, here it is. I like to take my bone folder and then just press everything out so it's nice and even. And I turn it over and do it on this side as well. I think when you have a really good crease on your cards, they just look more professional. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to bring this piece back over, and we can literally center this into our card base. But we need something behind this. You see how it's getting lost on there? So this is where I'm going to bring in this Designer Series paper. This is such a pretty paper, and again, this is that Countryside Inn. And you know, you can look through it. There's also this piece on the back side of this is this pattern. That would be pretty. Maybe we'll do that side and kind of change it up a little bit. Let me put this piece back in to my folder, and we can look at some of the other pieces and see if we see something we like better. This one's pretty as well. I think since I've already got this piece cut, I think I'm going to go with that one. I really like that. I think it's pretty, and I think it'll give us a good backing, a good background for that. So I know I need to cut this at 4 inches because we already have it. This has already been cut down to 5 1/4. So all I have to do is cut it this way at 4 inches. So I'm going to lay this into my trimmer and bring it up to 4 and give it a cut. And I like to press out the edges of my cardstock. I don't like that little lip that kind of curls up when it goes through the trimmer. So I just like to do that and just kind of iron everything down. So now, I dropped my piece. There we go. I'm going to take and put some adhesive on the back of this, and I think I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal. You could use glue, whatever is your favorite adhesive to use. You know, I always tell everybody, you do you. If you like glue, use some liquid glue. If you prefer tear and tape, by all means, use your tear and tape, or your Stampin' Seal, or your glue. Just make sure when you put this on, if your paper has a direction, make sure it's going in the right direction. You would not want your trees upside down. So I am going to set this down. Like that. Give it a good press. And now this piece, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to run my tape along those sides. And then I am going to gently Set this down. Just like that. And that is so pretty. Look how beautiful that is. Now we still have our flower, and the flower is what's going to give this such a beautiful focal point. So what I want to do to put my flower together, I'm going to decide where I want my stem to come out. And I think I want my stem right about there. So I'm going to put a little liquid glue. Right about there. And then I'm going to take my stem and lay it into the glue. Something like that. And then we've got our leaves. We want to put our leaves on our stem. So I'm going to put one right about there. So I'm going to put the glue on the actual leaf. Let's see. Yeah. Let's put glue right here on the bottom tip of that leaf. And then all we have to do is set that stem into the glue. I think I did that backwards. Okay, it's alright. We can still make it work. I think the leaf looks better like that. Yep, and that's still stuck, so that's good. And now this one, we can bring this one down and put it right about there. So I'm just going to put a little glue right here. And remember, it only takes a tiny bit of glue. So I'm going to lay that leaf right there in that glue. Now I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of my flower because I really want that to pop a little bit. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to put one right over that stem. And a couple more up here. And let's go ahead and put one on each leaf. And that one is showing just a tiny bit. So if you have that issue, take your paper snips and just get up under the edge of it. Pull your paper. Nope, I just tore my flower off. Let's see if we can do that again. Get up underneath the edge of it and just snip it off like that. I'm going to put another drop of glue there. And set that leaf back in it. Something like that. Beautiful. And then our flower can live like this. So let's go ahead and pull our backers off. Once I get all those off, I'm going to make sure those go in the trash, along with that little piece that I snipped. So now these are ready to put down where you want it. So I'm going to very gently I want it about like that. And that still leaves room for our piece that we cut out for the sentiment. And that can go, that can tuck right up underneath that leaf just a little bit. And we may want to even pop that up. Who's to say? We could glue it onto that leaf and put a dimensional right here, and that would be popped up. So let's play with this just for a minute. I have a sentiment that I wanted to use that came from the Country Blossom. Just wanted to say, and then this way this card could be whatever you wanted it to say. You could put whatever you wanted in the back of it, inside. So just wanted to say happy birthday, just wanted to say get well soon, just wanted to say, and it could be whatever. And I love a stamp that allows you to do that, because then you can make cards ahead of time and have them waiting for when you need them. So I think this block will work. And I think for my sentiment, I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Lost Lagoon. Boho Blue. Please forgive me. I will get these names of everything down right before everything's said and done, I promise. So I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to come over. Now I may have to get my head in the camera because I need to get over top of this to see exactly where I'm stamping. Just wanted to say I love it. And I think I do want to put glue right here and a dimensional here and here. So I'm going to grab a couple of dimensionals and I'm going all the way over to this edge as far as I can go. And then when we put this on the leaf or the stem, that'd be perfect. Actually, I think I can do a mini right up there at the top. And a little bit of glue. Do a tiny bit of glue. And that is perfect, exactly where I wanted it to fall, so that works out gorgeous. So now all we need to do is put something on the inside. Now for my inside, I would like to take another piece of the, I'll tell you what, let's go into the, let's grab a boho blue. I don't have a piece that's large enough to go inside, so I need to cut a piece. So let's put this back in here. And the boho blue would be right here. And how about that? I have a scrap. And it looks like we only got to cut a little bit, so we're going to cut it 4 inches off of here. So we have 4 inches that way, and we need 5 1/4 this way. So that's going to give us that very little bit of waste. Now I want to use my punch. I need to slide things over just a hair. I don't have the space I need to turn this. So I want to use this little punch right here, but I want to try something first because I want to make sure I'm getting the same thing all the way around. So if I put that corner in there just like that each time, and then like that, and then like that. Yes, that gives me exactly what I want. So what I want to do is I want to put it in like this. This is the Detail Trio Punch, very best trio punch. And we're going to punch it and punch it and punch and punch. Now we have this piece done. We need a piece of white. We're going to layer a piece of white on top of it. So I am going to grab a piece. This is Yeah, this will work. So this piece, I want it to be 3 3/4 by 5. So we're going to put it in here and do it at 3 3/4. So that way we only take off a little bit. Let's cut it 5 first. And then let's cut it at 3 3/4. And then we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to punch out the, using that corner punch, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go in and in. And one more. This punch is coming back, so it will be in the new catalog, and I'm so glad because I want to show you all the different things this punch will do. You have, of course, the one we just did, but then you also have, this one is great for taking off a corner, like if you wanted to make a tag, this would be the perfect one to use because it takes that off. But what if you just wanted to punch a hole? Not even a hole, but just a little opening like that. You could do that with no problem because that punch does all 3 of those in one. I love these 3-in-1 punches, and the ones that Stampin' Up! Have are always wonderful. The mechanism works great every time. You got these little non-slip feet on them so they don't move when you have them on your work surface. They're very sturdy. So I love Stampin' Up's products for those reasons. So that worked out really good for us to work this right here. And look how pretty that is when you border it up like that. So pretty. So I'm going to stamp on this piece, and I think I want it to say I'm going to go with my charming sentiments and my go-to greetings. I love both of those because they're sentiments that you can use for so many things. I love the one wishing you the happiest of birthdays. I like that. Or we could do wishing you everything wonderful, happy birthday. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of doing the big happy birthday across the top. And then wishing you everything wonderful below. And we'll have to do these separate because of the fact that we are working with a cling stamp and a photopolymer. So I'm going to come right about there, and we're going to stamp that one down first. So I'm going to grab a stamp block, and I think for this one I'm going to go with the Misty Moonlight. I don't want to rock this because I saw I have ink around the edges, so I do not want to rock it. I want to make sure I keep nice even pressure right on the stamp so only that stamp part is hitting my paper. Beautiful. Now I can come in with this, wishing you everything wonderful. And I'll grab another stamp block for that. And I think for this one, I'm going to do it in the boho blue. Now I do need my Stampin' Pierce mat because the photopolymer just stamps much better if you've got the stamping mat under it. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. And now we can go ahead and adhere this to this. And since my liquid glue is sitting right here and it's open, I'm going to, well, since it's open it doesn't want to flow, but that's okay, we'll make it flow. Alright, maybe we need to poke the hole a little bit just to get it going. There we go. And now all we have to do is sit this down nice and even so all of our little points line up. And now this is ready to go into our card, and how beautiful is that? Who would not love to receive this for a birthday card? I made it a birthday card because I do send out a lot of birthday cards. I do a ministry at my church where I send birthday cards to people, and get well cards and sympathy cards and all kinds of things like that when someone is sick, they have surgery, or anything like that, or sometimes just an encouragement. And it really does make a difference. Now I want to do a little something on the outside, so I am going to use the flat adhesive back pearls. I love these. I think they're gorgeous. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to take one, two, and three. I also want to give it the look of a bow, so I'm going to take some linen thread. I love linen thread for that reason. I'm going to actually do my little loop bow on my fingers, and I'm going to loop it several times, and then I'm going to snip it, and then I'm going to feed this through. The hardest part is getting it to go through your fingers. There we go. And then we're going to run it back up underneath that piece. This running it back under is what causes your bow to tie. And then we're going to rock it back and forth. And we'll pull it off of my fingers. And we have a cute little loopy bow. And then all we have to do is cut off this tail. And we can put this little bow down right here. And it adds a little extra something. So I'm going to grab a glue dot. And I'm just going to grab it with my finger. And I'm going to roll it. Just roll it up. And then I'm going to stick it right on the back of this piece. See how I just adhered it right there onto that piece of linen thread. And then I'm going to take the whole thing and just sit it right there. And there is our card. How stinking cute is this card? I love the way it turned out. We got a nice message on the inside. We used new products. We used two new stamp sets. We used two returning ink colors. Boho blue, is that a returning one? Can't remember. It's one of our ink colors. But anyway, the Misty Moonlight was definitely a returning one. I love the the boho blue. I think it's so pretty. We put some gems on it. We stamped our leaves and built our stem with leaves. I love this card. It's different, but in a very good way. I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up. And if you notice the beginning of my video today, I had a sound rather than music. I have been plagued with someone claiming rights to the music that I'm using on my video when I use the preset music that is in the editing program that I purchased. I purchased this program and rights to use it. So every time someone claims the right to my video, I have to go in and dispute it and wait for them to decide that I was at right and the other person was at fault, and then they release my video back to me. But it's a pain, so I decided that rather than having to do that, I will put a sound up there that's just, I think it's just a little applaud. No music, no rights, nobody has rights to that, and hopefully that will alleviate the problem that I've been having. So that was the reason for the change. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you love this video or this card as much as I do, and I hope this is something that you would like to make. These products will all be available on May the 2nd. We only got about, let's see, today is the 11th. This will go up, no, today's the 12th. Okay, today's the 12th, so we only have a couple more weeks before the new catalog goes live. So also I want to say, all of you that I'm sending a catalog to, if you get your catalog, please shoot me either a text message or a email telling me who you are and that you received your catalog. That way I know when I need to contact Stampin' Up that someone didn't receive a catalog, I can let them know the name and address of the person. So thank you for doing that for me. And as I say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. So until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.